Very nice Wednesday morning. 14 degrees here in southern British Columbia, which translates to 58 degrees to those of you who speak American. Can't believe it's Wednesday already. Seems to be going by very quickly, which is a good thing. I decided that the word today, the word I was going to talk about, was season. Because yesterday I was talking about I could feel that the change of season was beginning. You can just feel that little shift in the air quality and mass, and the barometer is playing around a bit as well. We had some rain last night, and so, as I've said many times before, for those of us who live in my part of the world, we know it's just a matter of time before we have very major amounts of rain, normally in October. So that's not that far away. And so we're going to sort of squeeze out the best we can of these coming days. To enjoy what's left of the summer. And I hear that there are going to be quite a few nice days left in this week alone, so that's great. But I was thinking about the fact that there is a season for a lot of things. There is a season for life. There is a season for happiness. There is a season for love. There is a season... Do you know what I'm saying? That, how about friendships? And sometimes we think that friendship should always be in the season of summer and just beautiful. When in fact, friendships go through their winter and fall as well, if they're normal friendships. Now, some of you probably got extraordinary friendships that have never seen winter or fall, but I think most friendships do, most marriages do. There is a season for that as well. And so you look at life and just understand that that is part of life. And if you can see it from that perspective, then you understand that that's part of each day sometimes. And for some of us, maybe part of each hour. And that we have moments of being happy and moments of being not so happy. We have moments of great joy and moments of great sadness. Maybe we have moments of great wealth and moments of poverty. And for any of you who've been through those seasons, perhaps you would give us some comments back about it, and how it, at the time you probably thought you were never going to get out of that season of your life, and yet you did. Because I think if more of us talk about the fact that we have been through these seasons, then more people will understand that it's quite normal. It's not that their life has come to some terrible sort of place. It's just quite normal. And I think that when we can look at life in that way, it also gives us great hope, because then when we hit a bad season, of rain, as in tears, or as in winter, as in people being cold to us, or you're just cold in our lives. You know, when you get to those, you know that there's spring coming soon, and hopefully summer. And you know, when you can have hope, then all things are possible. And that is really what this is all about. If you think about it, every year a farmer plants seeds. Now, with all due respect, does the farmer know that those seeds are all going to germinate? No, he knows that probably quite a few of them won't. So he will overseed his fields. Doesn't just put on enough seed for the field, he puts on more than that, because he knows that some seeds will fail, and therefore he allows for that. And then he spends the rest of the year looking after those seeds. And yet, even though he does a great job of watering and weeding and doing all the things so that these seeds have a good chance of survival, sometimes life just ups and hits him. For example, there'll be a terrible frost just at the wrong time, and it will kill his plant, which is really, really sad, because that can ruin his whole income for the year. And for those of you who have lived in farming communities or are farming communities, you will know that that affects the whole community. It doesn't just affect the farmer, it impacts everybody. The people who sell seeds, the people who sell farming equipment, you know, it literally ripples down across the whole community. And so, if you look at life and go, there are times when what happens to you affects your whole community as well. Whether that's sadness or happiness. There's nothing more fun than listening to somebody who's in love. I just love the look on their face. But you know, everybody gets to that place where they then deal with reality, and the reality isn't quite as beautiful as the intoxication of falling in love. And so, when you listen to your life, when you watch what's going on and listen to it, you will know that, you know, unfortunately, that's part of what makes life life. It's the yin and the yang. It's the ups and the downs. It is what life is all about. And to think otherwise is perhaps to be unrealistic. Now, don't get me wrong. I think we can affect how much of our life is in winter and fall quite significantly. I think your attitude every day brings sunshine and light into your life, or doesn't. And if you go looking for the bad, it's there, believe me. But if you go looking for the good, it's also there. So, you know, when I look at it, excuse me, when I look at it, I'm pretty darn grateful for the life that I have, good and bad. about to be a cow. All right. My feeling for today is, if you're going to do the speed limit, keep in the right-hand lane. I'm on a stretch of road where really nobody does the speed limit. And there's a car driving in the left-hand lane, which is the overtaking lane, doing the speed limit. And there were 5 cars undertaking her. Do you know what I mean? They were cutting into the right-hand side. And this woman driver is probably quite upset that all these people did that. I guess why they're doing it. Because you're going way too slow for the average driver. Anyway, where was I? Seasons. And I was listening to the grandmother of a young baby yesterday, and she was telling me that her daughter had decided to stop work and actually stay at home and look after the baby, who's probably nearly a year old now. And that's wonderful that she lives in a situation where she can afford to do that, and that her husband earns a good enough income that they can afford for her to be at home and not have to work. And yet, you know, there's part of you that goes, gosh, and what happens then if he loses his job? Well, then the season changes and the decisions change, and maybe there isn't that option. And I think that we're sort of reversing in that as well. We went through the season of, you know, everybody was a stay-at-home mum. And then we went through the season of everybody considers actually going to work. And then we had a season of a lot of people, even though they were married and had children, going to work and having careers. And I believe now we're going through a season of more people deciding maybe not to do that. Maybe they're more willing to downsize their lifestyle slightly or significantly, so that they can afford to be at home with their children. And others don't have a choice. Others are single parents, you know, carrying that total burden. And that is hard work. For those of you who are single parents, wow, you have my full support, because being a single parent is hard work. And my heart goes out to you. I really don't know how you do it in some ways. So my challenge for you today is to see the seasons of your life or your day, and understand that it just is the season. It's not something that's going to stay like that. And it's really important to see that these things sometimes are just quite fleeting. And maybe you've just lost a relationship or a friendship, and you're wondering how you're going to survive that. Well, let me tell you something that people get really drawn to people who smile. And so it's really important to take a moment and find the summer in each day and have a reason to smile. It's really important to help somebody else, to make you feel good so that you can smile. And all too often, we expect to have things change when we're doing absolutely nothing to create change. I had reason yesterday to hear the old adage that if you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep getting the same results. And so if you want to have a different life, you need to live a different life. You cannot possibly have a different life evolve if you're doing exactly the same as you've always done. Unless you live in some sort of fantasy that you hope things are going to change. Well, they don't. And that is what it is, a fantasy, and you'd be better off in Disneyland than living in your town. Because at least in Disneyland, you know, the dreams do come true without you doing too much. So take a good look at the seasons of your life and your day and smile. I've been some pretty good days in my life, and I will remember them forever. And I've also been through some horrific ones. Ones where I thought I would never survive. I've really been challenged with a lot of things. But then I also have been through incredibly wonderful times. Ones that most people will never dream of having. And so therefore I am very grateful, because I believe then at this time of my life that I can look back and be grateful. You know, I can look back and go, well, you know, I've been rich and I've been famous and I've been in love and I've done a lot of things in my life, and I've had great sadness and unbelievable hurt. I've had betrayal and all sorts of nasty things happen. But overall, I am a great believer that all those things, all those seasons as they came upon me, all shaped me in some way to be the person that I am today. If my life had been totally one way, I wouldn't be the person I am. Because I know what things look like. I know I can recognize it in others. And that gave, you know, that's a great gift to have. And I'm very grateful for it. So, enjoy your life today. Enjoy all the seasons of your life today. Work at making sure that you spend as much time looking forward as you possibly can. And I say looking forward, but if you're somebody who's inclined to look in your past the whole time. You know, really the only thing we can influence is today. As a performer, I remember time and time again people saying to me, and it's true, you're only as good as your last performance. In other words, you know, what you did 10 years ago really is not going to affect a great deal. But if you did a really good performance a couple of days ago, the chances are somebody's going to talk about it and you could get another gig. And so that's why they say it that way. You're only as good as your last performance. So try and make sure that whatever's going on, that you keep in the present. And if this is winter in your present, then do what you can to look forward to spring.